Thank the heavens, the training arc is finally over. Hallelujah! Well, I just finished episode 4 of The Great Cleric, and as I said, I'm very thankful the training arc is finally over and that now we might finally, after 4 episodes, be able to start seeing what he's going to do after he is done with this, and see him actually exploring the world and hopefully start going on adventures and all that good fun stuff. Once again, I made copious notes for this episode. I don't know why. Sometimes I just get hit by inspiration, I suppose. First of all, in this episode, I would like to mention that the humoristic elements, like the comedy they try to pull off in this show, is not really for me. I don't really enjoy or get anything out of the exaggerated expressions or like different colored background shots they do with dramatic sounds, whatever. I personally don't find that specifically entertaining. To me, that is more based on a sort of teenage, young adult audience, not really a fully adult audience, but maybe I'm wrong. Anyways, not really the biggest fan of that aspect. In this episode though, just to quickly recap here, we do see Luciel, he just finishes his training arc, I suppose. We also get like almost a year time skip in this episode from start to finish, which is a lot. We do get some more information on the world, which I always appreciate when Luciel has this study session with all the cutie adventure girl receptionists. So we get to learn a bit more about the republic he is in and the surrounding areas. So for some reason, they specifically say that, well yeah, the republic we are in right now, Sherule, whatever it's called, is the only country or republic in the world that has abolished or outlawed slavery. I don't know why they specifically mention this fact. I mean, it must be relevant to the story later on, right? If they are specifically going to mention it, because why do it otherwise? But it might not be, I don't know. But yeah, apparently, for some reason, slavery is specifically outlawed in this country specifically, not anywhere else. Why it is outlawed? Don't know, but it is. And this country is, of course, also the headquarters of the Healers Guild, etc., etc. I suppose we do get a short mention of the friend of Monica being sold into slavery later in this episode, to which makes Luciel ask why that happened, because slavery is supposed to be illegal here, but then you just get some excuse of legal loopholes, so you can sell them to other countries, etc. So, again, it's very iffy how this is all supposed to work, but I guess we will hopefully get more information on it later. On the topic of the nice, cute receptionist adventure girls and such, I will have to keep saying and reiterate my point that I often make, that for the love of all that is holy, please stop making MCs, especially Isekai MCs, absolute soy boys. I am so fed up, and my biggest pet peeve, or one of my biggest pet peeves, keeps being that anytime any woman or girl does anything even remotely, conceivably, not even sexual, but just closeness or anything else, makes the MC get completely red and shy, and like, oh my god, I can't talk, I'm so... For the love of god, dude. I mean, especially when in Isekais, these people are usually well into adulthood. Is this how people act in Japan? There's no way, right? But yes, I was absolutely not impressed by the scene when these receptionists press their chest against the back of Luciel as they look over these adventure rankings, and Luciel absolutely loses it, basically. Like, oh my god, can you please step away, you're too close to me. Oh my god, dude. We need to have an intervention on that one. I'm also very happy to say we do finally get into more of the, let's say, healer scum arc and concept of this show, which I think is the most interesting part of this show so far. So we do thankfully get more into that in this episode. We get to hear from Monica that, okay, so she got her friend to go to this healer's clinic that was helmed by the most richest, most established healer in the city to get some help for something. And he treated her, but she couldn't pay the exorbitant fee he charged her, so her friend was sold into slavery. Which is quite rough, I have to say, but okay. And that also caused Monica to basically be attacked and almost die before Luciel finds her and saves her, as she was apparently targeted by assassins or mercenaries that came from this healer, assumingly, because she publicly spoke out about this practice and what he did to sort of get his debt back. But this raises a lot of questions. Because, okay, yes, we know that every healer in this town is scum, basically. Okay, good, sorted, we know that. But why would Monica, who knows Luciel, has known him since day one, has had multiple interactions with Luciel about him, being upright, being moral, being basically like a good citizen and wanting to not, diminish the healer's reputation and wanting to be like just like a proper man, right? And heal people for a reasonable price or even free and all these things. In every interaction with Monika he has had, we have seen him espouse these sort of views and positions. And this is also after like 6-8 months of time skip, so she and him have probably had many more interactions after this to know that that is where he stands. So with all this clear, or it should be clear, between Monika and Luciel, why would Monika have her friend go to this clinic with this scumbag healer when she could have just referred her to Luciel? Did she have to go to this other healer because Luciel doesn't have the spells necessary to heal? Like, what like help would the other person need then? If it's not a cure spell or a healing spell, what help do they need? I don't know, but hopefully we will actually find out and have that explained, as that to me seems really weak in terms of logic and why Monika would do that. Because if we don't get that explained, that's going to be a very contrived setup, I have to say. We also get to see another thing later in the episode where Monika basically asks Luciel how much she owes him for saving her life earlier after she was attacked and was bleeding out, and apparently being horribly afraid of how much money he was going to demand from her or whatnot. Which again poses the question of, what? Again, every interaction he has had with her, he has been pretty adamant, I would say, and forward in espousing the views that he doesn't do things that way. He doesn't subscribe to the sort of scumbag healing setup of extorting people for money and whatever else. So why would she think otherwise? She has had no reason to think that, right? So again, I'm just puzzled as to why Monika thinks this, or thought that before anyway. We also get to find out another interesting tidbit that when Luciel, after one of these time skips, is told by Brad that, okay, adventurers were attacked, we need help, people are dying. He runs out to this area to heal some people, and basically, he doesn't heal someone with one use of magic. Like, he heals one person like 10 times to heal the wound, which raises the question of, okay, so using a spell once doesn't guarantee it will work. Is it like a RPG like success rate thing that you have like a X percentage rate for successful healing or successful curing of an injury, and you have to keep casting until you hit the success rate? If that's the case, that seems very intricate and overly complex if they aren't gonna explain it to us. That was interesting and weird. So then, after he has to do these things a lot of the time, like repeating it, he runs out of magic. So Brad gives him a MP potion, etc., to regain some MP or such for him so he can keep healing. But if that's the case, I feel like that somewhat invalidates his entire reason for being really sparing with the capacity for healing he has if he can regain a lot just by drinking some potions. But we do see that it does actually get exhausted from it, so I guess it is still limited after all. And after the fact, with all these people being hurt and him healing, he's still only able to save some of them, and again, some people die, which apparently affects Luciel hard, and he vows to not let it happen again and become stronger, etc., etc. While I do like this approach from a narrative aspect, that, okay, we are being shown that Luciel, he is not almighty, he is not the standard OP protagonist. He is definitely still weak in this world, and there's many things he cannot do. He cannot save everyone. Cannot even save like a group of people. But even though I like that approach, I would still really like them to really hit home with that. Because yes, they have a short scene of him sort of having some tears in his eyes and saying that this hit him hard. But I would have liked a more intricate deep dive into really showing him being crushed by this, being really hit hard by this. Like showing him like really struggling with his inadequacies and him not being good enough, not being strong enough to save these people, and having that really be a defining sort of character moment for him. As same with the episode 1 thing, where he also was sort of sad about letting this one person die for not being good enough, but again, not really diving into it then either. I would have really loved to see more of that, but it doesn't seem like the anime wants to really go too deep in on that aspect, which I think is a shame, because I think that would make Luciel a much more likable and deep character, with stronger motivations, if they actually show that more directly. Anyways though, after the final time skip, almost a year has passed in this one episode, by the way, and he has sort of finished his 1 year agreement working at the guild, and now he's gonna start looking for a healer clinic to work at, to start earning money, get some spell tomes, learn new spells, and go into the world. So cool, great, good. And while I'm very happy the training arc is finally done, as it was way stretched out further than it should have been, this still feels like, okay, so you had a 1 year almost time skip in this one episode. Why couldn't you have spread those time skips out over the last 3 episodes and cut down on the training arc portions that really weren't that valuable or progressed the story at all, in my opinion? Most of it anyway. Instead of having all of this time skipping in one single episode, which I think is definitely borderline too much. At least they did skip a lot of time, which is, I guess, a positive overall, so it's fine, we'll overlook it. But apparently, though, he didn't really get any stronger in martial arts. Like, for some reason, after a year of training, he is still a novice, which I guess makes sense, logically, that because it takes a long time to learn things like martial arts and stuff, but he's still apparently a novice overall. So all the time and effort spent in these last 3 episodes, especially the last 2, on the training arc section of him working hard and training day and night, and after all of that, it's like, yeah, okay, I basically didn't even improve at all. I'm still a novice, and I don't know much at all, and I can't fight yet still. What? Really? So after showing all of that, you're still basically at square one, almost. Well, that sucks. Hopefully he has actually learned enough so that he can actually show off those, at least even minor skills later on. If not, this will feel very weird having even had all his training arc in the anime. That's also another problem I have with this episode, is again the pacing. Like, this episode, as far as I know, only has 12 episodes for the season here, meaning you spent 1/3 of the first season, and almost all of it has been this one sort of martial arts training arc section. That, to me, is really bad pacing, at least considering what I assume will come next, which will be a lot more interesting. I mean, I would cut this all down to 1 episode, at most 2, but I would say 1 episode max, of the training arc, time skipping, and getting these things established, and then putting that out into the world to progress the story. Because I feel that this training arc section has been lingering way too long, and while I am happy it is finally over, they could have finished it way sooner to focus on more interesting aspects. But I suppose I will in the end be somewhat satisfied that, okay, finally we see a Isekai MC not being OP from day one, and actually having to go through a elongated training arc to even get off of square one. So I guess that is a somewhat positive note to make at the end of this video. Anyway though, what was your thoughts on this episode? Did you like it? Hate it? Whatever else? Comment that below, or any other thoughts you may have. I respond to every comment, so please feel free to comment anything, really. And also, if you liked the video, got any value out of it, then please do like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I will see you all in the next one. So have a good day, bye-bye.